Let's say I have the expression here, x squared minus 5x minus 24. Okay, what I basically, and it tells me to factor this. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and factor this in the product of two binomial terms, like we've been doing in the previous videos. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Since it's an x squared here, we know it's going to be x here and an x there, right? Also, let's think about our signs here. We want a product. We want our product to be negative, and we want our sum to be negative. Well, if we remember our integer rules here, we know that in order to get something that multiplies to a negative, one has to be positive and the other has to be negative. Okay? And if we remember our integer rules for addition and subtraction, we remember that in order for it to be negative, the larger number has to be negative. Okay? So we need a positive and a negative with a larger number negative. Okay? All right. So let's look here. So we know that we're going to have one positive and we're going to have one negative, because in order for us to get a negative number and then a negative sum, we're going to have one positive and one negative. Now, let's go ahead and get our factor chart here that we've been doing in the past videos. So we'll say factors of 24 and their sums. Okay, factors of 24. Well, we have one. We want to get a negative 24. So we want to get the factors of negative 24. So let's get them. They'll be 1 in negative 24. Then we'll have 2 in negative 12. And we'll have, well, let's do 1 in negative 24. Let's see, what is this sum? This sum is a negative 23. Well, that's not what we want. But negative 2 minus 12. 2 plus or minus 12, that sum will be negative 10. That's not what we want. Let's try 3, and 3 would go with minus 8. Well, this will give me a minus 5 when I combine them. Ding, 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 ding. This is what I want, right? So, therefore, I'm going to go ahead and take this out. Because 3, the reason I'm taking this out is because 3 times a minus 8 will give me a, let me see this, 3 times a minus 8 will give me a minus 24, and then 3 plus a minus 8 will give me a minus 5. So this is what I want. So let's go ahead and put it into our factor form here. So of course we're factoring like this in the product of two binomials. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know we already started it. Okay, we already started it up here. So let's go ahead and finish it. So we want to put something here. Now, don't make this mistake of just substituting the numbers in anywhere, okay? Because the thing about it is, we want to get a positive number, right? Well, so we actually kind of already sidestepped ourselves. Let's go ahead and take these signs out, because I'm going to remember what I told you happens here. If we go ahead and put our signs on our numbers down here in this step here, then we don't have to worry about putting our signs first when we're dealing with when we're putting it into binomials, okay? Because you're just going to basically insert them. So what you're going to do, 3 and negative 8, you just take these and you substitute them here. You substitute them into your binomial. Okay, so let's take 3. We'll put that'll be a plus 3, and then this will be a minus 8. Okay. So this here, it looks like my answer, but I don't want to make the mistake and it not be. So let's go ahead and check it. Let's do something called the check. The check here says that if we take x plus 3 times x minus 8 and we FOIL this, we get x squared minus 8x plus 3x minus 24. And then when we combine our like terms, we get x squared minus 5x minus 24, which is equivalent to this here. So that must mean that it is the factored form, okay? Now, if we wouldn't have put our signs here, if we would have just factored 24 and just got the regular old factors, then we'd have to do a little bit more work and actually think about the larger number having to be negative in order for this sum to be negative here. We would have had to think about that. But to just totally go around that, bypass all that work, we can just put the signs when we're finding the factors. Okay, make sure you do the chart. The chart really helps you. Okay, let's go to another. Let's do one more example here of this. Because I think you guys got the hang of this. It's a fairly easy topic. So let's go ahead and, yeah, let's get a new problem. Okay, here, let's see. Well, I ended up erasing it anyway. I was trying not to erase it. Let's get our chart back. Factors. And then sum. Okay. Let's say we're factoring the expression. Let's see. Let's just get a new expression here. Let's say we're factoring x squared plus 7x minus 18. Minus 18. Okay. Well, we know we're going to factor in the product of two binomials. And we already know that this x squared, we already know that this x squared will turn into 1x going here, and then 1x going there. So we'll put an x here and an x there. Bam. Because when we multiply these first terms based on the FOIL method, it'll give us the first term in this trinomial, which will be x squared. Okay, that's done. Now what we need to do is figure out what factors of okay, well, let's do negative 18. What factors of negative 18, of minus 18, but we want them to add to positive 7. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and do it here. Let me see something here. If we take the factors of 18, let's say we have negative 1, because we want a negative 18. So we have negative 1 and positive 18. Then we'll have a negative 2 and a 9. Okay, negative 2 and a positive 9. Well, let's go, before we go any further here, let's go ahead and see if what sum this will give me here. Negative 1 and 8 plus 18 will give me a 17. That's not what I want. Negative 2 plus 9, well, that gives me a 7. And I do want a 7 here, right? I want a positive 7. So it says if negative 2 times 9 are added together, they give me 7x. They give me 7, right? And if they're multiplied, they give me a minus 18. That's exactly what I want. So all you do is substitute. Substitute. So let's put a minus 2 here, and we'll put a minus 9. We'll put a plus 9 there. So a minus 2 and a plus 9. Okay, well, perfect. Let's go ahead and check this and see if what we came up with is actually right. So x minus 2 times x plus 9. Let's FOIL this. If we do this by the FOIL method, it says that we get x squared plus 9x minus 2x minus 18. And we combine our like terms, we get x squared plus 7x minus 18. And this indeed is the same thing that we have here. So that must mean that this is the factored form. It's the factored form, since it checks out by the FOIL method. Okay, so that's the factored form. All right, and this has been your unit on factoring in the form of x squared plus bx plus c. Okay,